With the first question, Tony, how have you enjoyed actually coaching? It's been a long time for you to wait until now. How have you enjoyed it, and what have you learned about the group since arriving at the camp?
Yeah, you know what? I'm happy I still have a voice left. I was so excited on the field. First couple of sessions, I was so loud, so I almost lost my voice. That's how happy I am being back coaching. When it comes to learning the group, I've seen now more on a personal level, obviously with social distances, that the things that I've experienced talking to them like this previously, and now I get to know them even better. And it's a fantastic group of people, both the staff and the players.
I don't know how we're doing this in order, or whether we have to put up our hands or anything, but I suppose I'll go next. Tony, we found out in the last 24 hours that both Amy Harrison and Ellie Carpenter won't be joining the camp. Alongside Steph Catley, that means that the Matildas' first choice fullbacks are not available. How are you going to fill them?
Well, obviously there's always challenging in football. It could be different reasons. It could be everything from COVID protocol or players not being available for selection for different reasons. And I've always been one of those coaches that try to look at what I have in front of me and see how I can get the most out of the players available. We've always been spending days in training to see how we are going to fill that position. And most likely, without revealing too much, we might see actually some different options through these two games. Because we need to take this opportunity as well to look at some other solutions depending on what's going to happen come Olympics. We need to find different ways of solving positions where, as you said, we right now are lacking options. So don't be surprised if you might see multiple solutions during these two games.
Stephanie Bruns.
Tony, what are your expectations results-wise from this?
You know, I'm going to be that boring coach now and answer. We focus on the process here going into this game and trying to get a really, really good performance. But, you know, to be honest, I actually think someone said to me that, Tony, do you know that this might be one of the toughest games that the Matildas ever played? And I said, what do you mean? Well, look at the players that are not available. They haven't played in 400 days. They have a new coach. It's hailing when you're practicing. There's player not available to play in different positions and so forth. So I could stand here and give you excuses to say, well, result-wise, we don't expect to do well. We're not wired that way. We're the Matildas, right? So no matter what, we're going to go out and do everything we can to wear that crest on our chest and play our best. So I'm going to focus on that, which we've done in training, and then we'll see how far it goes. What I do know, we're going to get a lot of good pictures and learn where we're at this moment and what we need to improve going into the Olympics.
Justin Chadwick.
Yeah, g'day. Thanks for taking the time out to chat. I was just curious, you mentioned that you'll look at a few different options. Who are some of the options to replace Ellie Carpenter?
Well, out of respect for the players now that we're still in training mode, I don't want to say who those are. We're still looking at it in training. We have different options. We could use natural backline players that has been playing in that position previously in club game. We could potentially convert players that are more attacking-minded players that can play as an attacking outside back. Could also be more defensive presence as a centre back floating out to play in an outside back position. So that's kind of the three options you can have. The natural left back that play there in club level, converting in more attacking players to play in that position, or a more defensive solution where you push a centre back out there. So those are the three positions that we have looked at without mentioning any names at this point.
Hugo.
G'day, this is Brenton Speed on Hugo's phone. We're doing this as a joint conglomeration. Hi, Tony. You've got some potential debutants there, 4 players who've never played for their country. So you've just mentioned the potential of, different players in fullback roles. Are we going to see a lot of potential debutants over these 2 games?
Maybe. First of all, I want to credit the more experienced players, the way they have treated these newcomers coming in and the atmosphere in camp. I'm amazed and really, really impressed how the experienced players have taken them on board. I'm also impressed of these so-called debutants, how they actually come into the environment. And even after just 1 or 2 days, I see the same things in this environment as I saw in club level. That's why they're here. So in that sense, I'm really impressed. Whether they're going to get playing time or not, that's to be determined. We still have 2 training sessions to look at things. But like I said, I've been impressed how they have merged into this group of players, mostly so because the experienced players had really helped them to come in a smooth way.
And can I follow up on the goalkeeper front? Mackenzie Arnold hasn't played for a couple of months. An injury ruled her out at West Ham, but she's obviously in this squad. So how is she tracking? Is she available? Are they contending for the one spot?
Yeah, what I can say is that our SSM team have done a phenomenal job in terms of communicating with the clubs before coming into camps. We know the status of the players, working closer with the clubs. Also in camp to have a individual periodization plan so that everyone can be fresh and ready for game day. Is the goalkeeper situation a tough situation right now with only 2 goalkeepers in camp? Of course it is, and also with her coming back from an injury history here. So we need to balance that really carefully and maybe treat it a little bit different than we normally do, because normally we always have 3 goalkeepers in camp. So that's a sensitive balance there.
It's open for anybody who wants to ask questions.
Tony, Steph Brantz again. Am I correct in thinking that you're doing sort of a hit and run mission for these matches, and you'll be staying at your base in the Netherlands and just going in and out to the cities for the games?
Yes, you are correct in that one, and that's all based on safety protocol. And I want to credit the federation here for all the work they've done to even be possible to have this camp. I mean, the FA and all the staff, all the work that put in the COVID protocol, all the moving pieces behind the scenes that very seldom get seen or credit for. If it wasn't for all the people that made that possible, we wouldn't be here. So it's actually going to be a very quick in and out, which also obviously is a challenge from a performance standpoint, because we're actually going to travel on match day. So that itself obviously going to be a challenge from a physical standpoint. But as I've said before, there's always going to be players and staff safety first.
Tony, have to ask about your captain, Sam Kerr, who was in incredible form for her club before she joined you guys in camp. What's it like coaching a player, I guess, of that ability, and when someone of that ability is in that sort of form? And also, do you think she's the best striker in the world at the moment?
Well, first of all, I am really, really appreciative of getting the opportunity to work with Sam. Not just because she is a really good football player, but she's a fantastic person. And to have the privilege to get to know her more on a personal level during this camp as well has been amazing. We had a couple of really, really good talks, and in training you can see she's buzzing and how much she appreciates coming back into playing for the Matildas again. So that's just a pure pleasure. And I do know that she also have a very, very high ambition of always trying to strive to be one day better, and that's what we're going to focus on. And then it's up to others to say whether she's the best in the world or not. Is she in form? Yes. And we have a lot of forwards in form right now coming into camp. So that itself is really exciting going into the Germany game.
Can I just quickly follow that one up? I mean, when she arrived in England, there was some doubts, maybe even a little bit of criticism from the press there about her finishing ability. She had some early struggles. I'm sure you would have been in regular touch with her throughout that period. I guess it shows, an incredible player and incredible mental strength to battle through those times and come out the other end. Now being top of joint top of the Women's Super League goal scoring charts.
I actually think you're on to super factor here. If a team wants to lift the trophy, that mental toughness is one of the most important things to lift that trophy, and she definitely proved that. You know, when you're in this business, you're always going to have opinion. Most likely, some of you and some others are going to have opinions about the lineup that I put in place in the Germany game, for example, and there's going to be opinions about performances and so forth. And if a player can lock that out and really focus and stay in that circle and really, really focus on her game and her performance, and we as a team can do the same, that's actually, that mental toughness is going to be one of the super factors, together with obviously the fitness of this team, which has been unique. And it's been a pleasure to see the intensity and the high intensity running, everything from pressing game to the passing game in this team. So that mental toughness and that fitness is definitely going to be two things that is important. That I think, I said this in one of the early press conferences, that this team have a lot of things in place already that we're going to sharpen and improve, and then it's a couple of add-ons to that, like some game management scenarios and such. And I think what I've had to do in this first camp is to balance myself and not be over-ambitious, and keep it simple and get everyone to see the same picture ASAP. And yesterday was the first time we had the chance to play some 11v11, because in the first day of a camp we had to balance all these pieces to make sure everyone was fresh and ready. Some players played on Sunday, some travels with time difference and so forth. So yesterday was actually the first time we played 11v11, which I love to see. And it was a lot of clipping video last night. And I have Mel by my side here, and we have been working so hard. So that's actually something I want to bring up. If it wasn't for Mel, to all the work that she's done from the first day I arrived, I wouldn't be up to speed where I am today. So actually I would love to have Mel in front of the camera for a little bit to update you on everything we've done, because we're working really close together as a coaching team. So Mel, please.
Hi everyone. It's been fantastic in camp. As you heard, it's been a long time, nearly 400 days since we've been together, and I have to say I was pretty excited when I saw Tony walk through into the hotel lobby for the first time. But we spent a lot of time. We got here early, in fact, ahead of schedule compared to what we usually do, and just spent time in the war room, going through everything from top to bottom, and it's been excellent. So for me, I'm really looking forward to putting all that information, all the things that we want to do onto the park, and we've seen already the success and what's been picked up in training, and to put that into the game is super exciting for me.
Mel,
Go, Sam.
Mel, you were obviously based here in Australia for quite a while. You had a lot of insight into the WLeague, and now you're working with players who spent the WLeague season here. Slotted into Matilda's camp alongside your Sam Kerrs, your other kinds of players who've been at Europe. Has it been quite a seamless transition for them?
Yeah, as we heard from Tony, the way the Matildas have embraced this group coming into the camp, and together with the players coming in, stepping up and knowing the environment that they're arriving in, the two together have been seamless. It's been a real joy to see, in fact, and then on the pitch, that transition has been seen as well. So all players are being super professional, enjoying, I think is a really nice thing, enjoying being back together and coming together. And I'm excited to see what happens in the sessions ahead, and obviously the learnings in the games that are ahead of us as well.
Mel, just speaking of the players in the WLeague, and with a nod to the 21 that you have left in this squad, and they're the ones we're focusing obviously for these friendlies, what has the communication been like with the players that have been left in Australia, haven't been able to join this squad? Is there any sort of confidence being offered to them that they'll be in the frame in the future?
Yeah, that's a good question. What we've done already in this camp, Steph, is connected. So even though apart, we're always together, and we've had a meeting, and our people that aren't here, both staff and players, have been able to connect with us. So we've been in contact, of course, individually with people as well, and kept those lines of communication open, definitely.
Mel, just a question on the players who are in the squad who have been in Europe for a significant amount of time now. Have you seen, players like Sam and Alana and all the others who have spent now full seasons plus in European club competition? Have you seen, marked developments in their own personal game and what they bring to the table as a result of being over there in that environment?
Well, first of all, as individuals, they're so driven. They're driven to get one day better in all that they do, and taking that step and making that move into the European leagues is another example of that. And I think with each day and how they approach their business on the training park and going into those leagues has led to, amongst other factors, an increase in or a development in their game as well. And I know they're going to keep looking for ways to develop and get one day better. So it's definitely fantastic to see. And as we've said, a lot of our players are in form, and it's credit to them, and they're being driven in nature.
Final question, please.
Just a quick one on behalf of a colleague from New Zealand. India Paige Riley is still not tied to a certain country. She's eligible for both Australia and New Zealand. Has there been any discussion in camp about her situation and perhaps what she's wanting to get from her time there?
With all the players, it's really in these initial stages been about us, all about us and what we want to try and do on the field. And for her in particular, it's her first time. Let's think about her and what's best for her. It's her first time in this camp, so we want her to enjoy it and focus on her game. So that's the space that we've given for her and for all the players, in fact.